Today I'm going to show you how to make a box card. These are especially nice because even though it is a three-dimensional card, it will fold flat for mailing. The one that I have here, I used the Oh So Eclectic stamps and cutting dies. The paper I used, however, was from Seven Gypsies, and that was several years ago. I doubt that it's still available. The one that I will walk you through making today uses the Stampin' Up! Cafe Café bundle. So first of all, you're going to need to cut paper. What you will need is, for the body of the card, you will need 3 pieces. One is cut 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. The other 2 for the tabs that go into the card are cut 1 1/2 by 4 9/16. Next thing that you will need is decorative paper for it. You will need 2 pieces that are 3 1/4 inches wide by 4 1/8 high. And if you're using a paper that has a direction to it, you need to keep track of what direction the paper is going so it's not upside down or sideways. This is the piece that I'm going to use for the inside back of the card, what you can see right here. This piece is going to be used on the back of the card, and I generally use either a white or a cream, or like this one, a very subtle tone on tone, so that you can stamp your sentiment or write a short note on it. Then for the decorative papers, for the flaps, these outside flaps here, you need to cut 3 pieces of paper that, 2 pieces of paper that are 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. These are the ones that go on the end flaps. And 1 piece that is 1 7/8 high by 3 1/4 inches wide. And last of the decorative paper is for the bottom, for underneath the flaps. You cut 1 piece that is 3 1/4 wide by 2 1/8 inches high, and 2 pieces that are 2 1/8 inches high by 1 7/8 inches wide. Again, if these papers have a direction to it, you need to make sure that you pay attention to that and don't end up with the papers running sideways. All right, now, first thing that we're going to start doing is scoring the tabs for the mechanism of the card. These are the ones that go inside the box of the card. You have 2 pieces that are 1 1/2 by 4 9/16. You score them at 5/8 of an inch on each end. And after you finish scoring them, fold them. The side that is indented, that is on top, and you fold back. The reason for that is that you've already weakened the fibers on that side of the paper, so you're less likely to end up with paper that tears or cracks. Again, the indented side is on top, and you fold back from that. Now, the next part of this is a little bit trickier, but very doable. First of all, if you're using the Stampin' Up! Score, you want to make sure that you start with your scoring blade at the top and your cutting blade at the bottom, all the way to the side. You put your paper in the long side across. First thing you do is set it at 10 3/4 inches, and you use the cutting blade, cut from the bottom of the paper up to 2 1/4 inches here. Slide that out of the way and take your cutting blade, take your scoring blade and score from the top down to that 2 1/4 inches. Next, you move your paper over to 8 3/4 inches. Again, you take your cutting blade and slide it up to 2 1/4 inches. And your scoring blade, you score it down to 2 1/4 inches. Move it over to 5 3/8 inches. Take your cutting blade, slide it up to 2 1/4 inches, and your scoring blade, and score down to 2 1/4 inches. Next mark to hit is
the correct measurement for this section is 3 3/8 inches. Again, it is 3 3/8 inches.
Cut up to 2 1/4 2 1/4 inches, and your scoring blade, and score down to 2 1/4 inches. Now, you want to take the paper that you have been working on and turn it upside down. Put it so that these cut pieces are hanging off the side. Make sure your cutting blade is out of the way totally on this. And slide the paper over to 2 1/4 inches. Starting at the 3 3/8 inches, which is where your cut and score line is here, you score clear down and off. All right, that is that. The next step is to take this one little 1/4 inch wide strip there. You want to cut that off. Then you start folding. Again, you have the indented side and you fold away from that. And the indented side on the opposite side, and you fold away from that. And burnish these folded lines. Now, flatten your card base out. This side with the 1/4 inch, you fold it just to that area there, and you have the tab here. Next, you will either glue or use a super adhesive kind of tape on it. I prefer using this type of glue, and you want to put enough so that it's going to hold, but yet not so much that it's going to dribble off onto the inside of the card, because you do not want your card to stick together like that. All right, now on this one, I must have had my measurements slightly off, because you can see how I have that sticking out. So this time around, I'm just going to trim that down slightly, because you do not want to have any areas sticking out. Now you have the basics of your box card made. What you're going to do next is these pieces that were cut 1 1/2 by 4 9/8.
The pieces were actually cut
like
1 1/2 by 4
you have your card
9/16.
body here, and on one side towards the back, you're going to put glue on the edge there. Then with the tab facing towards the back side, you will place it in there and hold it. You want to make sure that the edge of the tab is lined clear up next to the edge of the fold. Once that's dried a bit, you go to the other side of the back again, and you put glue on the inside. I prefer to put the glue on the card instead of on the tab, because then I don't end up getting as much glue that flips around off of the tab. And burnish it down, hold it in place. You now have the back tab in. Take the second tab. This one you're going to put with the folded portions towards the front. Again, put glue on the edge of the card. Put this insert in with the edge of that tab up against the front edge of the card. Hold it until it sticks, and then do the other side. Put the edge of the paper up against there. You now have it looking like this. On the back insert, the folded tabs go towards the back of the card, and the front insert, the tabs go towards the front of the card. That gives good spacing on them. And you can check, make sure that your card will fold flat. All right. Now, We start with the decorative papers. With the flaps of the card in the up position, take your decorative paper that you cut. And again, remember, if your paper has a direction to it, you need to cut it so that it will be upright, not sideways or upside down. Cut these. You've got those cut. Now it's just a matter of gluing them into position. These were cut 1/8 of an inch narrower and shorter than the panel that they're being glued on, which then gives you a 1/16 of an inch border around the pieces. Now you have that part done. Fold the flaps on the card down, and you can start gluing these others in. Again, remember what direction the card is going, because if your decorative paper has a direction, you don't want to end it up with the design on the paper upside down or sideways. I find that I do a lot more gluing than taping, but using a double-sided adhesive on these decorative panels works just as well. Okay, now at this point I would probably take and ink the edges of the cards and the flaps. Next item to adhere is your decorative paper for the inside back. And you want to wait until this point to put it in, because you currently have that glued flap showing. But so this is to help cover that up and give a background for your pieces that are going to go there. Now you get to start the fun of decorating. If you want to put this, make sure that this card will fit in the standard A2 envelope, you want to make sure that you don't have pieces hanging off of it. However, if you are going to make your own card, your envelope, you can have it go whatever way you want to. I think I'm going to make my own envelope for this one. So I'm going to one on the back. I find if I start working from the back forward, it helps my layout better. All right, now I'm going to put this one here. So put some glue on him. These were fussy cut from the decorative paper, designer paper that goes with the Coffee Cafe set. Now, I want to have a stack of cups here. And I think what I'm going to do is adhere some of these cups together and then put them on the flap. Well, that's not gonna there. Okay, now I have those three little cups stuck together, and I want to make sure that I can see most of what's on that, so I think that putting them like that will be a good position on them. And you're at a spot now that you really have to watch that you're not flattening the card with wet glue behind it. And let's see what we've got here. I think that that coffee pot will go there. And remember, you can reach up from the bottom, through the bottom to work on it. And let's see what we can do here. Let's try this and see how it fits in here. Well, I think I'll put him there. So a bit of glue behind there. And I'm going to put this little guy in there. Now I've got some other pieces that I'll use to decorate. Let's see, this guy can go over here. And I'll put this coffee pot over here, and a bunch of the coffee beans can be scattered around here. have to remember that you also have a back to it. I am putting this on the back, and I think that just a few of the coffee beans scattered on it. Now I still have various other ones. I'm going to put another cup here with some coffee beans. The decorating of it is always, it's a hard thing for me to plan ahead. I tend to do all of this as I'm working on the final assembly of the card. And of course, the embellishment of it is strictly a personal. But here, I think that that's a pretty good looking little card. I see I've got to fasten that down. And I'm not going to put this on yet because I like to have everything flat when I write on it. My writing is so horrible as it is. It helps to have it flat. But now you have a card that you can flatten either direction and put it in an envelope. Now again, if you were wanting to make sure that it fit in the standard A2 envelope, this piece that's sticking out, you'd want to have it totally within the confines of the outline of this card. So hope this helps you. Enjoy the rest of your day.